Grammy-nominated rapper Twista just pled guilty to 5 criminal tax charges. Let's go.
This is Pocket Watching with JT.
Hey, Pocket Watchers, I am certified financial planner Jayson Thornton, and this is the Fraud Fumble. This is where I react to the financial failures of your favorite celebrities and influencers so you can get the financial lesson without going through the trouble. Let's go, Pocket Watching. On this episode, I will be reacting to the criminal tax case of Grammy-nominated rapper and Chicago legend, Twista. But before I dig into the numbers, let's give this brother his flowers. Carl Mitchell, aka Twista, was born in 1973 and was raised on the west side of Chicago. Now, this man is an actual world record holder. Yes, he has the Guinness World Record for being the fastest rapper in the world. His breakout success came in 1996 when he was featured on Do or Die's hit single, Po Pimp. Now, to be honest, back in the day, I thought he was in the group. In fact, I thought he was the lead rapper of the group because his verse on Po Pimp is my favorite part of the song. But it wasn't until the next year in 1997 when he released his certified platinum album, Adrenaline Rush. He's gone on to drop more albums like Kamikaze in 2004 that debuted at #1 on the US Billboard Top 200. But it was in 2003 when he dropped the song that people all over the world knows him for. It was a song that featured Jamie Foxx and Kanye West, Slow Jams. I don't care who you are, where you from, you've heard Slow Jams, certified hit. Now, he's gone on to make a bunch of different songs, a bunch of different hits. He's collabed with some of the top artists all over the world. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we end up here? How do we end up on Pocket Watching with JT? Well, according to the federal government, Carl Mitchell, aka Twista, committed tax crimes. Let's dig a little deeper here. On June the 1st, 2026, he was hit with 5 counts of willful failure to pay individual income tax. According to the federal government, he owes them over $400,000. To be exact, it's $441,059.91 as of May 5th, 2026. Now, for the years of 2019 through 2023, he owes $177,984.52. For the years of 2011 through 2018, he owes $263,075.39. So let's go over how did we get here. Now, according to the federal government, they are able to prove that Twista failed to pay his taxes not because it was an accident, not because it was a mistake, not even because maybe it was an accounting error. But no, they claim that they can prove that he willfully and criminally chose not to pay his taxes. Now, seems like a pretty high bar to jump. It's not as if they can read this man's mind, but they don't need to read his mind because of the evidence. So let's go over that. Here's point number one. Point number one of the federal government against Twista is the fact that he disregarded direct professional warnings. Let's go over this. The federal government's claim that they found that Twista completely ignored the professionals that he hired, right? Between the years of 2019 and 2023, Twista paid professional tax return preparers to prepare and file his tax returns. All right, these accountants and advisors sat him down and explained why he owed what he owed and went through the complete tax returns with him. All right, they told him exactly how much he owed, and they strongly encouraged him to pay his taxes on time. Also, The IRS sent him several notices, letters to his home explaining how much he owed, why he owed, and that he needed to pay them. Okay. Now, he was in compliance with the IRS. That means he filed the taxes. The problem is he didn't pay the taxes, right? You're only doing half the job. You file your tax return, and if it shows that you owe, you then pay the taxes. He only did half, and that's a problem. Now, point number two, the reason why they can claim that they know he failed to pay his taxes, not based on the accident, but because he didn't want to. This is how they figured it out. It's because he set up this scheme to avoid a levy. Now, for those of you who are unaware, if you fail to pay the IRS what you owe, the IRS has several different ways of making you pay. One of those ways is a levy or a garnishment. What does this mean? This means if you have a W-2 job, the IRS can go to your job and say, hey, before you pay Joe Smith, you gotta pay us. We're going to take a percentage of every paycheck until we're paid back in full. That's one way of doing it. That's when you're a W-2 employee. But when you're self-employed, they've got other ways to get them as well. They can go to their bank and say, hey, listen, we want X amount of money out of his bank account to get us paid off. Or if you're an independent contractor, like YouTubers, independent contractors, they can go to YouTube or Google and say, listen, you pay your YouTubers every month. We want that money. Before you pay the YouTuber, you gotta pay the IRS. In Twista's situation, Twista gets a lot of money based off his royalties. So the IRS can go to the record labels and say, listen, before you pay Mr. Mitchell, you got to pay Uncle Sam first. So what does Twista do? Well, Twista sets up an agreement with a third-party company called LF, okay? With this company, he sets up several different agreements to get cashed out an advancement on his royalty payments. Now, follow me here. He normally gets these payments, I think they get them quarterly. And what he decided to do, he said, listen, I'm going to sell you guys my future royalty payments. Just pay me up front now. He sold it for over $500,000, $578,322. So he got his money up front. And now this third-party company, they're receiving the royalty payments. So what can the IRS do? The IRS is not going to offset this third-party company because the third-party company doesn't owe the IRS. Twista owes the IRS. And here's the issue. Twista admits the reason why he set up this agreement with the third-party company is because he wanted to avoid paying the IRS. It's like you're telling on yourself, okay? If there was a legitimate business reason why you would sell your royalties to another company so you take the advance payment, it's hard for the IRS to prove that you did it to avoid paying taxes. But when you snitch on yourself, it makes it really easy, all right? Now there's point number three. Point number three is his spending, okay? Based on the information I have, the IRS was able to prove that this man was buying a bunch of cars instead of paying his taxes. They showed he bought a 2015 BMW that was worth over $80,000. He bought a 2016 Tesla that was worth over $65,000. He bought a 2022 Chevy Corvette worth over $100,000. And he bought a 2025 Jeep Gladiator that was worth over $64,000. See, the IRS has a problem when they see you buying a bunch of cars with money that you should be using to pay them. That seems to be a red flag. So what was his defense, right? When he was hit with these charges, what did his legal team come up with as a good excuse why he didn't pay his taxes? In situations like this, usually people will say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know I owed these taxes. Or they'll try to say, well, I got bad advice. He can't say any one of those things because, number one, he knew exactly how much he owed. He had great advice. He just chose not to pay his taxes. He can't claim he didn't have the money to pay his taxes because he's buying all these cars, right? So he had the money. He had already advanced notice of how much he owed. He had professionals that he hired that explained why he owed what he owed. The IRS is sending him letters. So what was the defense? Well, they threw up the white flag immediately. Immediately, right? What I will say is this. His legal team did a great job getting the charges to stay misdemeanors and not go felony route. If they were felonies, he would be seeing a whole lot more time. And we'll get into that in a second. But his attorneys were able to keep the charges at the misdemeanor level. So shouts out to his legal team for that. But on the screen, you can see that they filed on June the 17th, 2026. They filed their official plea agreement. Okay. Now, officially in court, it was June the 24th, 2026, when Carl Mitchell, aka Twista, put in his formal plea of guilty to all 5 criminal counts. Now, based on the maximum level, he would be facing 5 years in prison and a $125,000 penalty. That is on top of the money he already owes the IRS. But based on federal sentencing guidelines, most likely Twista will be facing between 12 to 18 months in prison. Still not great, but it's better. It's better than 5 years. Now, he is mandated that he has to pay restitution. He's got to pay the back taxes at $441,059.91. He has to pay the IRS immediately, right? But he will be sentenced on October the 22nd, 2026. Most likely, hopefully, keep his fingers crossed, he won't get any time, but he may be looking at about a year, maybe less than a year, if everything goes right. And if he makes that big payment, right, that $400,000+ payment, maybe they'll let him go away with like probation or something like that. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. Now, this is a teachable moment, just to be clear. For those of you who are not multi-million-dollar rappers who are facing a tax problem, this is what I do every day, all right? As a financial advisor, I specialize in tax resolution. I represent clients before the IRS all the time in situations very similar to this. I mean, $400,000 for a rapper isn't a lot of money. I have everyday working class clients who owe the IRS hundreds of thousands of dollars. People who own small businesses, plumbers, HVAC guys, some attorneys, people who may not be, world-renowned people, but they owe the IRS about the same amount that Twista owed. And this is how you can avoid this issue. To be clear, Twista did 2 out of the 3 things you need to do to stay out of jail with the IRS. He should have did all 3 and he would have been fine. But he did 2 out of 3. And what are those? Number 1, he hired a professional to help them prepare the tax returns. Twista has a very complicated tax situation, right? He's making money in a bunch of different states when he goes on tour. He's probably making money in a bunch of different countries if he goes on a worldwide tour, right? It's not a simple thing where you could just go to TurboTax and file your tax returns. You want to hire a professional. So he did that. So check box for number 1. Number 2, he actually filed the tax return. Believe it or not, there are people that will hire a professional to prepare a tax return. They will see that they owe the IRS a lot of money, and they'll tell that professional, don't file the tax return. I'm going to hold on to it for a while. That's a problem Because when you do not file the tax return, you are what's referred to as out of compliance. When you're out of compliance, you have very limited options of dealing with the IRS. The IRS will not allow you to set up a payment plan. They will not entertain any type of settlement offers when you're out of compliance. You need to file the tax return, even if you know you owe and you cannot pay. You got to file the tax return. Okay. Here's another reason why. There's a statute of limitations on how long the IRS can come after you for a tax debt. That statute of limitation is generally 10 years. Okay. But there is no statute of limitations when you don't file. They can go after you forever. So get the tax return prepared and then file it. So 2 out of the 3 things he did. The last thing is where he failed. And this is probably why he's going to jail. He's going to jail because he willfully failed to pay the tax bill. Now, if you're telling me, listen, JT, I don't have the money to pay the IRS, that's okay. We can set up a payment plan that is based off your income. And that payment plan can be $0 a month. It's like many people with their student loans who put their student loans in deferment. You can put your tax debt in deferment. You just got to make sure that you prepare the right documents. You have to, give the IRS proof that you do have the inability to make the payments, and they'll put your account in what's referred to as currently not collectible status. That means that you're basically in deferment. That means you're in compliance. The tax return has been properly prepared. It's been properly filed. You owe them money, but you're in deferment. You're in currently not collectible status. You don't have to make payments because your budget will not allow you to make payments, and you won't go to jail. Okay, but you got to do all 3. You can't skip steps. So for those of you who are not platinum selling rappers, I have the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules. These are 7 things that I teach my clients how to make sure they either keep from living paycheck to paycheck and then make sure that they do not go to jail for tax evasion. So let's go over. Number 1, budgeting. You got to have a budget. You got to know where your money's going. Number 2, you got to have an emergency savings fund. That emergency savings fund is going to keep you from going into debt. That leads us to 3, debt planning. If you do have high interest debt, we have to have a plan to get you out of debt as fast as possible. Number 4, insurance planning. If you do not have the proper health insurance or the proper life insurance, if you get sick, it can destroy you financially, right? Number 5, tax planning. Here we go. We have to have the plan in place to take advantage of the IRS code to make sure that you're paying the least amount of tax legally possible. And then we got to make sure that that tax gets paid. Number 6, wealth planning. You cannot save your way into wealth, right? You can have the emergency savings fund, but you have to invest to build the type of wealth you need so that you can retire. Number 7, estate planning. This is your written plan of how, if you did steps 1 through 6 correctly, how you're going to take the wealth that you built over your lifetime and give it to the people you want. When you do not have an estate plan, that means your local government is going to dictate where your stuff goes. These are the 7 Pocket Watcher money rules. Now, if you need help on understanding how to do this, I have a free financial planning app for you. Just go to my website, www.pocketwatcher.net. You can sign up for the free Pocket Watcher app. You can create your budget inside the app. You can track your debt inside the app. I have a step-by-step course, 100% free, inside the app that will show you how to actually apply the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules in your life. And if you have a personal financial question that you want to go over with the Pocket Watcher, you can get a free phone consultation with me. Just go to the website, pocketwatcher.net, click the free phone consultation button, set up the appointment. I'll do the best I can to give you a good recommendation to help you in your real financial life. And if there is a celebrity or influencer who's having financial problems. They filed for bankruptcy. They're getting hit with fraud charges, or they are a victim of being scammed. And you know that the paperwork is out there and you want me to review the paperwork. Make sure to put their name down in the comments of this video. I do the best I can to get you some content. Thanks for watching.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jayson Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.